You and Chris are going to be in here talking about God knows what.
What kind of a Thanksgiving dinner is this? Where's the turkey, Chuck? Don't you know anything about Thanksgiving dinners? Where's the mashed potatoes? Where's the cranberry sauce? Where's the pumpkin pie?
Oh, yeah. Hello, ladies. Daddy's back.
Oh, my. And it starts off like that, does it? Okay. Yeah. And this is a holiday episode.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, hi. Welcome to the Retro Show. I'm Butch Renfro, but that's not your problem.
No, that's a lot of people's problem.
I know. It's namely Debbie and then my sons who have to tolerate me and the people who work with me on a daily basis.
Yeah, but they don't know you like
But they're the real heroes.
They don't know you like I know you.
All right.
Well, your family does, but the rest of those people do not.
They do not. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined, as always, at the podcast table here at the Retro Show.
Chris Curtis.
By Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis?
Chris Curtis. Ladies and gentlemen.
Chris Curtis.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's, hey, my crowd's back. Sweet. What's up, guys? Didn't even see y'all over there.
I know they hide out in the corner sometimes. But anyway, folks, the Retro Show is a podcast where we talk about things about growing up in the 70s, 80s, and what it was like for us, and kind of just remembering and probably misremembering a few things. But, you know, we think it was a fantastic time to grow up, and so that's what we talk about a lot of the time on here. Chris, I found out the other day that I still have one of my superpowers. You didn't know I had a superpower, did you?
No.
It is the ability to ruin selfies.
Oh.
Okay.
That's really not a superpower. I can do that, too.
No, so here's the deal. Debbie and I go to the State Fair to see Night Ranger, which, by the way, the State Fair is a whole other topic we could get into.
Yeah, that is.
Of interesting people to see. But we went to see Night Ranger, and so we're sitting there, and there's a couple of ladies up in front, the row sitting in front of us, and they got the phone up, and, you know, they're doing the little poses. Doing the selfies, and I'm right behind, and I can see myself in the screen. So as soon as they get ready to take the picture, I go, make a big goofy face, and I know they didn't notice it at the time, but my hope is that later on when they're going through their photos, they see me back there.
Look, it's Butch from the Retro Show.
Yeah. Or like,
who's this jerk? That was a great picture. I look good in that one. I look skinny in that one. He just ruined it.
I'm getting a Team Chris shirt.
I'm getting a Team Chris shirt now. I was on the fence, but not now.
Dude, what's been happening with you?
Nothing. Life. Rolling with the changes.
Keep on rolling.
Look at that segue.
I'm telling you, man, you just tossed it right up there. I volleyed it back.
I'm trying to keep from putting my daughter in an early grave. Literally. Some days I love her so much, and then other days I'm just looking for a place to bury the body. Teenage girls, man.
Girls, man.
I don't wish that on anybody. But yeah, she's cool. It's just her senior year, and she's going through nothing bad, just
stuff.
Growing up. She's just growing up.
Yeah, she's finding herself.
She's making her own decisions on some things, and I'm kind of letting her get away with it. And
well, you know, sometimes that's the best way to learn too.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom is hard won, and I know a lot of times that I would say that there were a few things I probably told my dad I was going to do. He's going, all right, let's see what happens.
Let's see how this goes.
Let's see how this plays out for you there.
The boy is still up in Fayetteville.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
That's awesome.
I'm so proud of. He called me tonight, and we're letting him grow for sure.
Oh yeah,
he's a young man now, and we wait for him to call us. Mm-hmm. You know, so he called just to talk. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man.
You know that's cool when it gets to that point.
Now his senior year was rough.
Yeah,
I mean, between me and him, it was rough. He had some growing pains.
Yeah,
and I had some Yeah, you're just not doing that.
Listen, man, I absolutely believe that God builds it into kids and parents to butt heads.
Yeah. Well,
Because otherwise, you couldn't,
I did with my folks.
You know,
I mean, me and my mother, when I was a junior and senior, we probably couldn't sit in the same room together.
Yeah.
For very long without, she'd say, I love you, but I just don't like you very much.
Right. Listen, I totally get that.
I do too,
I
man.
absolutely get that.
I do. I get it now for sure. For sure.
For sure.
She got her hands full. She got a new toy poodle puppy, and
Oh, yeah.
I think it's totally taken over the house.
Oh, it will. They'll take over. And the thing is, you got to watch them because they're smart.
Oh yeah,
They're
she's
smart.
already. You can already see the intelligence behind her eyes.
Yeah. Folks, Retro Show, you can go to retroshow.net, find out all you ever want to know about this podcast, where to listen to us, how to support us, and the fact that we have a shop now where you can order swag like a Team Chris shirt. And
There are Team Butch shirts too. If you go that way, I understand.
Yeah.
But that's not for everybody.
No, it's not. Definitely not. And you can also, we have the radio station now that streams episodes 24/7. And, if you ever want to do that for whatever reason, it's out there too at radio.retroshow.net. So we also have a phone number. And Chris?
501-697-9933.
Find the up button.
A button.
And you'll be able to get a hold of us.
9933.
And if you call us, you can just leave a voicemail. Leave us a little message. Tell us where you're calling from. Give us a name. It doesn't have to be your real name. And then,
If
whatever
you're calling
comment.
from jail, do not call.
If you're calling from jail, we will not accept the charges. So there's that.
And we know people out there that would do that crazy
And we
stuff.
know. I'm going to mess with those boys out there. Yeah. So I got in trouble from my wife the other day, and I know you're shocked.
No.
You're
say
shocked
it isn't
face
so.
out there. So there's this lady, and I'm not going to give any context of where we know this person from because it'll give it all away, and I don't want to do that. But we know this lady, and she sounds like May Horn. And for people who are outside of Arkansas that don't know who May Horn, picture a woman that has smoked 47
Years.
unfiltered Camels a day for 47 years. And they kind of talk like this.
That was hilarious. Those commercials cracked me.
And so that's what May Horn sounded like. And she had a tagline, and she owned a men's store where they sold suits. And so it was, it was Horn's men's fashion. And for years, it would be on local television, and they would cut to her for the tagline. And she would always have this professional announcer before, and then she would give the tagline. And where he would say, where they dress most of the best dressed men. And then she would chime in right at the very end, the tag, all the best dressed men. And so, yeah. So I got in trouble for saying that when, this person spoke. And Debbie's like elbowing me, and I said, all the best dressed men.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
the other people around me thought it was hilarious. Debbie said, well, you're being mean. And,
a little.
maybe.
I mean, did she hear it?
No,
Well,
she
then.
didn't. Of course not. Yeah.
Debbie needs to come hang out with us more.
No. Probably
It would get a lot worse.
It could get a lot worse than that.
So, are we allowed to talk about our latest adventure?
Yes, where we went to a concert.
Yeah,
with
what'd you
some
think of
buddies.
that?
Man, I thought first of all, it was Marcus King, and unbelievable.
He's a hell of a showman and a gracious showman, and I really
He
appreciated
is.
that.
And here's the thing about Marcus King is he is so hard to put into a genre.
There is no genre for him. There's really not.
So, at first glance, you might think when he comes out in his, cowboy hat and his outfit that he would come out and do a country show. And there's a country element
There
to
is,
it,
but
there's R&B in there.
Jazz.
There's blues. There's jazz. He has a full horn section. He basically has an orchestra with him. And one of the best live acts that's out there right now.
You say that about the cowboy hat, but I've seen him just like the sharecropper's hat with feathers hanging out of his head.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no telling.
So
but
you never know how he's going to show out.
Play a guitar.
He can. I saw him the first time when he was open for Chris Stapleton.
Really?
Yeah. And he came out, and it was really funny because we had gone to the concert with some friends of ours who are significantly younger than us.
Yeah.
And they had some extra tickets. Said, "You guys like to go?" Sure. Yeah, we'll go with you. And so, we're seeing, we're there to see Chris Stapleton. I've never heard of Marcus King. This guy comes on stage, and immediately I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he's different looking too.
Yeah, he's different looking too. Whoever married him didn't marry for looks.
No.
So, but he comes out there, and then about towards the end of his set, he launches into a cover of War Pigs. That is just amazing. And I'm like going, yeah. And these younger people are going, I don't know this song. And I'm like going, oh, I do. Uncle Butch knows what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Marcus King, if you get a chance.
He's fantastic. And we went to Oakland to see him, and their venue is good. I enjoyed their venue.
Yeah. Oakland is a racing track / casino in beautiful, scenic Hot Springs, Arkansas.
The cool thing about it was, man, you walk in that door and take a right, and you're in the theater.
Yeah.
You don't have to go in the casino. You don't have to
you can just go right. You're just right
there. It's really cool.
It was fun because we also went with friends.
Yes. For one of the twins.
One of the twins. We had a Clegg in attendance.
Yeah, we had a Clegg.
And a Clegg and Joe Powers.
And according to that Clegg, the smartest, the best looking.
Yeah.
And,
That's a low bar, though. So, that's... And see, here's the so just now how I threw this little insult out and this dig at him, and there was a woman I was talking to at work today who I told him, I said, that's how we express affection for each other. That's how guys do that. Guys our age especially.
Us four, man. I mean, we say some crazy stuff to each other.
Yeah.
It's
some stuff that would start fights in any other circumstance. And you can't imagine a woman ever saying that to another woman.
No.
And so it's like, Janet, you tick. And then, do you know why you're a tick? And so
I mean, literally, I have called Mike Clegg a dog tick since we were in grade school.
In grade school. Yeah.
And he's in my phone as Dog Tick. And his brother Mark is in my phone as Mark. I mean, that's it. There's no last name. I know who the hell that is. That's Mark.
That's Mark. Yeah.
And then his brother, Dog Tick.
And Dog Tick. He's going to hear, I can't believe you guys said this about me.
Man, he knows.
Yeah, I know he does.
And he would, man, I had the best time.
Yeah, that was fun.
The funnest part of the night for me is when I leaned over him and I said, hey, man, this reminds me of Clapton playing Crossroads with Cream. And he kind of gets this blank look on his face. He's like, yeah, I kind of hear it. I hear it. And then he plays a lick, and it was like, we both at the same time, like, that lick right there. And we're looking at each other, and he starts singing, and it's the words to Crossroads. And I went, hey, man,
there's a reason.
This is Crossroads. That was I don't know what you call it. It was funny.
It was a fun show. It was a fun show, man.
I'm sorry, man. We're down a big rabbit hole, but I had a great time.
Listen, if you didn't come here to hear us chasing rabbits every once in a while, then I'm sorry.
Our dogs are terrible. We don't ever catch them.
I know.
So are we going to get on to a topic?
Yeah, let's get on to a topic. Today's topic, folks, this is actually a holiday show, as I alluded to earlier, I think. This is going to be our Thanksgiving food episode. Excellent. Meaning, basically, what does it take for you to have a great Thanksgiving? Chris,
y'all hear that?
Kick us off.
Y'all hear that tick? Y'all know what that is? Hang on. Oh, it's so good.
And now we're podcasting. Folks, when we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite Thanksgiving foods on the Retro Show right after this. Hey, Chris, guess what?
What?
Hey, guess what? We got producers on this show, and it's time to give them the big shout out. So go ahead.
You guys are awesome. I'm just saying.
Yep. So get us kicked off here. Who's first on the list?
LNC Corporation.
You don't cross the LNC Corporation.
Not ever.
Never, ever. Next on the list, Kevin Goff. Thank you, Mr. Goff.
Goff, thanks, man.
And then, of course,
Norton.
Chris B.
Chris
from
B.
Out east. Thank you, Chris. Also, Nancy Schwartz.
Nancy Schwartz.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Joshua Ramsey. Big Joshua Ramsey.
Big J.
Man, it's a great... That would be a good wrestling name.
Well, not only that, man, it'd be a good cowboy name.
Yeah. Josh Ramsey. That's right. You don't cross Josh Ramsey either. All right, who's next on the list?
Fran
Adams. Fran Adams. EM, just the initials, man. That's all we get on that. EM.
But thank you.
And then, of course,
Bradford, the Behemoth Mason.
Bradford Brad. And then our very first producer ever,
Number one in our hearts.
Tanya Highland.
Thank you, Tanya.
And if you would like to also be a producer for just $3 a month, it's very easy to do. Go to retroshow.net and you can find more information about how you can support our podcast. Hey guys, we're back at the Retro Show, and so glad you could join us once again. Retroshow.net's where you go to find out all about the podcast. And today, finally getting around to the topic, almost 14 minutes into the show.
That's all right.
That's all right. We want to talk. I wanted to talk Thanksgiving, and you know Thanksgiving to me has a lot of great memories from growing up for me.
They do for me too, but for a different reason. And when I explain, you'll understand.
No, go ahead.
So our family deer camp growing up, all of the men went to deer camp to take all their boys and sons to deer camp. That's when all the kids got to go.
Right.
Was over Thanksgiving holiday because we got out of school at like 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and then you were out Thursday, Friday. So that gave a 4-day hunt.
Right.
And
so would you guys leave on Thursday before?
No, we would leave Wednesday as soon as we got out of school.
So you did Thanksgiving at deer camp.
At deer camp. I've had there's a sand, we called it the sand dam, and it's a levee that gets you onto the island. And I've eaten turkey on the sand dam on Thanksgiving Day.
Wow. How cool is that?
But we were always in the deer woods when I was younger. And the women of the family were always pissed because they wanted to have family Thanksgiving, and all the men were in the woods. So
right,
that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Well, that was your tradition, though.
It was.
That was how you did Thanksgiving.
And we were so tight knit back then. Family wise, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, all the cousins and everybody and uncles.
And when you going to the island at that time, Big Island is where the Arkansas and the White River empty into the Mississippi, and it forms a big island. Mm-hmm. And there's like 13 camps on that island. It got so expensive, I had to get out. I did. It was just crazy. I was going in there maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and it was costing me an arm and a leg just to be in it. I had other priorities at the time.
Right.
But, back then, there was, when you crossed that sand dam, even getting to the sand dam, you better have a winch.
Yeah.
And you better have 4-wheel drive. It was a swamp. I mean, you're driving through a swamp. And that was part of the big adventure was
to
riding, four-wheeling all the way in. And me and my cousin, Stephen, I've mentioned him several times on here, we were thick as thieves, and we were always the ones pulling winch cable and getting muddy. Riding on the tailgate of the Bronco and dragging your legs through the mud, and just had a blast, man. So much fun.
And later on, if you didn't take the opportunity to call it Jean-Claude Sandam, then shame on you, sir.
Well, he wasn't even a.
I know, but later on, like in the late 80s, come on, man. After Kickboxer, that should have occurred to you.
I watched Bloodsport the other night.
Oh, Bloodsport! Listen,
great movie.
I love those movies.
That chick is so corny in that movie. She is just corny.
Yeah. So was it like the usual Thanksgiving food though? You guys would have?
No, I mean, one time I had turkey. Somebody brought turkey.
Right.
A lot of times it's fried chicken. One of my grandma or somebody had fried up for a bunch of fried chicken, and we'd eat fried chicken, But deer camp meals, especially the evening meals, were always special.
Right.
Whatever it was. I mean, hopefully somebody shot a deer that day, and we'd have camp meat. And there was always, and even up until the time that I got out, there's always a big pot of soup going.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly. I mean, you could always get a bowl of soup.
Yeah.
And peanut butter and jelly sandwich, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but the meals at night were always fried potatoes and deer meat and just turnip greens. Somebody would go.
Man.
We had several turnip patches down there, and somebody would go pick a bunch of greens and turnips, and we'd have turnip greens while we were down there.
That sounds
It was
good.
a good time, man. A really good time. And as a kid, you know, and that was a big adventure.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's it like today?
Today?
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving?
Yeah, for you guys.
I prefer ham.
Yeah.
For every holiday.
Oh.
I'm not a turkey guy.
Yeah.
At all. And we always cook. Go get a Pettigene ham and bake it to my mother-in-law's recipe. She made the best ham in the entire world.
Right.
And we try to hold that tradition for every holiday. Bake that ham. So good.
Do you have it with Mom?
Yeah, Mom comes down. Absolutely.
Oh, she comes down to your house now?
Yeah. Mom comes to our house now. She doesn't. She'd rather anybody not come to her house. She's
Right.
She's fine.
I don't want to mess this place up. I'm just going to come down there.
She comes and she eats and she stays for about 45 minutes. Well, I guess I better. I
better head on out. Yeah.
Hey, Mom. Okay, if that's what you want to do. All the usual trimmings.
Yeah. You know, and it's kind of the sad part of Thanksgiving for us is that, you know, I'm going to get into what it was like for us growing up, but, you know, you mentioned what it's like now. As you lose people.
Yes, it changes.
It changes.
Everything, the dynamic changes.
For so long for us, everything centered around our folks.
Right.
We would start off after we got married. We would start off down here at my in-laws, which were just right around the corner from us, and so you know, it's Debbie's folks, and so we would come over there and we would have a little bit, you know, we'd do the turkey and stuff like that, and then we'd try to get up to my folks' house during the lunch period too. That was the big battle, is we could not get them to change, either one of them to change their meal times to accommodate, you know, and so that was always kind of at times stressful, but the meal at Mom and Dad's was always the same, and at her folks' house too, is that Dad would always have dressing, and to this day made the best dressing.
Yeah, we always get my mom to make her dressing.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Dad made the best dressing, and a close second is my mother-in-law's dressing. Fantastic. There's not a lot. Ruth was not the cook that my dad was.
Not many people were, Butch.
But she did dressing right and was really, really good with dressing. The things we would always have, and it was pinto beans, it's the sides. You know, pinto beans. We'd have the green bean casserole. He would do the dressing. He would do sweet potatoes and all of that. I mean, just the big spread. But, and you know, always ham, always turkey. But depending on how good deer season was, we may have deer steaks as well.
Right.
So, you know, it was a big spread up there. If you went hungry, it's your fault.
Your problem.
You know.
Macaroni and cheese, the homemade version, my mama used to make it all the time. And then my mom kind of took over. Now Cindy is taking over making the macaroni and cheese. And they've all got it down, Jack.
Oh, listen. If you get a good mac and cheese recipe down, there's nothing that beats a homemade mac and cheese.
Cream potatoes, not mashed potatoes, but cream potatoes. Cream potatoes. Yep. That's always a staple. And my mother-in-law, God bless her, she always had to make that ambrosia salad with the Jell-O and all the fruit.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care. This is great.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Now, desserts-wise, man, you know, that was always something, too. Mom would always have pecan pie and pumpkin pie.
I'm going to correct you on that. Well, I'm not going to correct you. I'm just going to correct what we called it, what my grandma always called it from southeast Arkansas. Yeah. That was Cairo nut pie.
Cairo nut pie. Yeah. But yes.
Which is pecan pie, but the southern version.
Yeah, Cairo, because you made it with Cairo syrup.
Cairo syrup, that's right.
Dark Cairo syrup. And to this day, that's what I make it with. on there. As I guess I make a K-Road nut pie.
So, yeah, you make those, do you?
Yeah.
That just happens to be my favorite.
Well,
So,
you're just saying.
I'm just saying. My grandma, when we would go down there, we went to my mama's in Southeast Arkansas, which my cousin Stephen was down there.
Right.
We're 2 months apart, so we're really tight. And we would have dinner on Sundays, and my mama would make 2 K-Roll nut pies, one for lunch, and then as I was walking out the door to go home, she'd hand me a whole pie.
One to take home.
Loved it. That was my absolute.
It's hard to beat one.
If I could get a piece of her pie, and her biscuits today,
I
would be in heaven,
man,
without a doubt.
I'll tell you what. If you don't. If you've never tried a good Southern grandma's version of K-Row nut pie or pecan pie, amazing, just amazing, because there wasn't no store-bought crust back then. They would hand make the crust, and it was just fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Now we've gotten and like I mentioned before, since my parents have passed away and Debbie's parents have passed away, we've had to kind of do our own traditions, which over the past 10 years we've kind of gotten into, and it's kind of got I have a sister, Sandy, and she always comes for Thanksgiving. Who was
here not too long ago.
Yeah, who was here not too long ago. And she always comes for Thanksgiving and for Christmas with us now.
Yeah.
So, we always have them here, and we do, and so I have turned into the main cook and bottle washer, as I say.
You know what's funny? We're talking about...
And I love it.
We're a Gen X podcast and talking about growing up in the 70s and 80s. Except for the dynamic, most of the food choices really haven't changed.
They haven't changed a bit.
Because you get traditions.
It's traditions.
Right.
And
it's awesome,
you do that. Yeah. Like the dressing I make is Dad's dressing.
Right.
Yeah,
the dressing that gets made is my mama's, actually, but then Mom took over that duty, and now Cindy will take over that duty. Right. It's so good. So good.
So I do that dressing. I've gotten to where...
now, do y'all do cranberry sauce with your dressing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Got to have
absolute cranberry sauce.
Yep.
And I actually make a cranberry relish.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That I make instead of the sauce.
It makes you do funny things with the microphone.
Yeah, baby. That is really, really good. Now, we still do the out of the can.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best kind. I love it. I don't know why, but I do.
But I also make a cranberry dressing. I also make it at Christmas, too. And Debbie actually found that recipe probably 20 years ago.
I don't believe you. Prove it.
So fix me some and we'll see. But the food is such an important part of those traditions.
Absolutely.
And when you're building new traditions like we're trying to do now, and it goes into Christmas too.
It does. It's they call it the holidays for a reason, because literally it's usually a little over or a little less than a month till Christmas.
Right.
I mean, 30 days ain't nothing, Jack.
It ain't nothing. It's just time to get ready to do it. Here's what I've started doing on Christmas Day. Now, I know we're jumping ahead to Christmas here. By that time, we're sick of turkey. We're sick of ham because we've done it every one. So Christmas Eve, we still do, the big meal with the ham and all this kind of. But Christmas Day, I've gotten to where I start to grill steaks.
Yeah, I did that year before last, and everybody liked the steaks. But they were like, we want to go back to traditional ham and all that. I'm like, okay, I freaking asked everybody, and everybody was sick of ham, but I'm gonna tell you, there ain't gonna be no turkey. That ain't happening.
Well, I smoke my turkeys now.
I don't care.
But it's hard to keep them lit. Taters. Yeah. Dad joke right in the middle of this. But yeah, man, to me though, the whole center point of Thanksgiving is got to be the food. It
is.
And some of my favorite sides, you mentioned
like
green
going to deer
potatoes.
camp was a
Yeah.
tradition. So I mean, there are some traditions, but it all centers around food.
Yeah.
it really does. I mean,
Everything.
somebody kill a deer.
You know,
We want some deer meat tonight.
I want some deer meat
Thanksgiving.
tonight. Somebody kill a deer. But yeah, man. Listen, I hope all of you have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And
I know
you
this isn't our normal show, but we figured it was
No,
holiday
it's
special.
it's a nostalgic thing where we're just kind of, you get to hear me and Chris talk about, what it was like growing up, which is kind of what this is about. And so,
Fixing to crack open a bottle of whiskey and just cry.
I love you, man. But yeah, but listen, guys, you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. And this is The Retro Show. Go to theretroshow.net to find out all the places you can listen to us and all the ways that you can support us on the podcast and listen to us. Like I said, we got a radio station. We got a store. And so, yeah.
And we're big
Jump
time.
on in there.
We are big time. There's tens of listeners.
We have tens of listeners out there, folks. And we love all of you.
Yep.
Listen, and on that note, I love all of you and I like some of you. Go out and
AMF
make your
guys.
day.
AMF guys. AMF.